Forget those generic car chases and explosions, okay? This time, we're diving deep into Korean crime films. We're talking about the kind of movies where the real action, it's emotional, you know? And we've got these two podcasts that really get into what makes this genre so unique. Trust me, we're going way beyond just blood and bullets here.
What I find fascinating is how these films use violence, right? But it's not gratuitous. It's like they use it to expose these deeper societal and psychological tensions, which I think makes it so much more impactful than just, typical spectacle.
Yeah, it's like every punch, every gunshot, it's like it carries the weight of something bigger. Like you think about a movie like The Man from Nowhere, right? Those action scenes are brutal. I mean, they're unforgettable, but it's that emotional core, that really gets under your skin and stays with you.
Absolutely. The Man from Nowhere. That's a perfect example of how Korean cinema uses violence to express this concept of Han.
Han.
Yeah. Now, it's a complex idea, but, well, imagine this. A collective feeling of oppression and injustice, like it's ingrained in the Korean psyche. And, well, it's also about resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. And I think the film captures this beautifully, through that protagonist's desperate struggle.
So it's like, it's not just about the physical fight, right? But there's this deeper, almost like spiritual battle going on at the same time.
Precisely. It's about something more profound. That's where the intensity comes in. Won Bin's character, he's not just fighting to survive. He's channeling generations of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Seeking a kind of catharsis. It's powerful stuff, and I think it resonates with audiences on a very deep level.
Yeah. So it's that depth that makes the violence feel so much more, I don't know, meaningful. It's like a raw nerve laid bare for everyone to see.
Absolutely. And this exploration of raw emotion, it goes hand in hand with how these films portray morality. You're not going to find your typical heroes and villains here.
Right.
It's all about morally ambiguous situations. You got characters forced to make impossible choices.
Yeah.
No clear right or wrong answers.
Like the good, the bad, and the weird.
Yes.
I mean, you've got those three main characters, and they're each just trying to survive. And right and wrong, it's like the rules are constantly changing. It's a wild ride for sure. But it definitely makes you think.
And that's the point, isn't it? It's that ambiguity. It's intentional. It reflects a society wrestling with rapid modernization, right? It's like you have these ancient traditions bumping up against these newfound freedoms, economic disparities, huge weight of societal expectations, all these tensions simmering beneath the surface. It's all there, blurring the lines between, good and evil.
Wow. So these films, they're not just telling stories, they're like holding up a mirror to these real anxieties that are playing out in Korean society.
Yes, 100%. And few directors capture this better than Bong Joon-ho.
Oh, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
The mastermind behind Memories of Murder. I mean, this film, it's based on actual events, but it becomes something more. It goes beyond your typical crime thriller. He blurs the lines between, well, the investigators and the criminals.
Oh, yeah. I remember that feeling, like watching the police resort to these increasingly desperate measures. It's like they get consumed by the very darkness they're trying to stop,
Exactly. It's not just about catching some killer. It's about systems of power, right? How even the people who are supposed to uphold justice, they can be corrupted. And it reflects this very real and uncomfortable truth. Sometimes that line between good and evil, it's terrifyingly thin.
And it's not just like, the police being corrupt or anything. These films, they often focus on just ordinary people, but they're caught in these systems that just feel rigged, like in The Man from Nowhere. That isolation the main character feels, it's almost like he's being crushed under the weight of like all these societal expectations.
It's so true. Korean cinema, I think it really excels at portraying those everyday pressures. Like the crazy competitive job market, the demands of family, this constant striving for success, all those anxieties, they're right there on screen, pushing the characters, and you really feel it.
Yeah, you really get that sense of desperation, like one wrong move and bam, everything falls apart. And then you've got films like The Outlaws, even the gangsters, like even their whole hierarchy. It's like a mirror of those rigid social structures in Korean society.
Absolutely. Don Lee's character, right?
Yeah.
The tough cop. He's not just battling criminals, but it's like he's trying to work within a system where the lines between right and wrong aren't always clear, bound by duty, by a code, but then also this deep sense of justice that doesn't always fit within the rules. It's complicated.
It's like that signature Korean cinema blend, right? You get these incredible action sequences, pure adrenaline, but they're always telling a story that's grounded in the realities of that society.
And you can't forget about how they use the technical stuff to bring those stories to life. The long takes, for example,
Mm.
like in The Outlaws, man, they use those during the fight scenes, and it just ratchets up the tension. You're just right there, feeling every single blow.
It's so visceral. That's the perfect word for it. And they're not afraid to use humor either. Even when things are super dark and intense, like, that scene in The Outlaws where Don Lee's character.
Takes down the bad guy with a cooking pot?
Yes, classic. That's what I'm talking about. These little injections of humor, they keep you on the edge of your seat, but in a good way.
Yeah,
Even with all the serious themes, they make those moments so memorable.
totally. It's like that roller coaster of emotions, right?
Yeah.
Reflecting how unpredictable life can be.
Speaking of unpredictable, we got to talk about Parasite. It's Bong Joon-ho again, but this film, it kind of breaks the mold. It's not your typical crime film, but it's got all those classic Korean cinema elements.
Parasite is something else. You think you're watching this dark comedy about class, and then it slowly transforms into this thriller.
It really gets under your skin. I mean, I was still thinking about it weeks later. And it makes you question everything. Social mobility, opportunity, even just like what it means to chase the so-called good life. It's powerful stuff. It's like Parasite takes all those things we've been talking about, right? The moral ambiguity, the pressures of Korean society, the whole like fight for survival thing, and it just, I don't know, twists them into something totally different and unexpected.
It really does. Bong Joon-ho, he's using the crime genre, but he's really exploring those deeper issues. Class, privilege, how these systems can trap people. And he makes it thrilling to watch, but also kind of disturbing at the same time. It gets under your skin.
It's that slow buildup. You think you've got it all figured out, and then, bam, everything changes, and suddenly you don't even know who you're rooting for anymore.
Exactly. You start to question, like, who are the real victims here? Parasite makes you think about how sometimes society pushes people to do desperate things. It challenges those easy answers, those clear lines between right and wrong. And that's what makes you keep thinking about it long after it's over.
And that's the thing about these Korean crime films, right? It's not just about the entertainment. They really make you think about the human condition. But they do it in a way that's so stylish and gripping, you can't tear your eyes away.
You hit the nail on the head. They offer a glimpse into a different culture, sure. But they also tap into those universal themes, those anxieties we all feel. Justice, morality, how to make your way in a world that doesn't always play by the rules. Those questions are timeless, and these films, they just nail it.
So look, if you're tired of the same old action movies, the ones that don't really stick with you after you've seen them, do yourself a favor. Check out some Korean crime films. They're on another level.
You won't be disappointed. The emotion, the complex characters, the way they use the genre to say something real about society. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the most thrilling stories are the ones that feel the most human. They stay with you.